I had read many reviews of this movie and never watched it in my whole life, and people have ultra strong feelings about this movie. I might break it down on a future show. They have no idea what it really means. It's The Last Temptation of Christ, and I just watched it actually last night because I read all these reviews about, oh, it's so horrible, look at how it's depicting Jesus. It's a reinterpretation of the New Testament biblical allegory of Christ, okay? Which again, I've talked about in ad infinitum. You don't need to believe in historicity, the actual historical existence of the figure of Jesus in the New Testament, to understand the allegorical importance of the New Testament story. So I'm not going to even get into that, breaking down religion and astrotheology. We've done it a billion fucking times here on What on Earth is Happening for people who haven't fucking listened. Okay, go back and watch and listen to the podcasts in order. Download the images. Go through it all. Read the books that we're pointed to. And then you'll have an understanding, and you won't be a know-nothing who thinks you know something. So, this movie came out in the 80s, and I've never seen it. Because I just thought it was some stupid religious movie until I understood what it's really about. By watching it and decoding the allegory, it's about attachment to the familial form of love. And not doing the cosmic form of love because you're attached to the familial form. This is the so-called last temptation brought to the biblical figure of Jesus in the movie by Satan. Satan tempts him with, you're going to live your life and die as a normal person, loved by family members, and die comfortably in your own home instead of on the cross. Of course, the cross is an allegory for doing the great work. It's also an allegory about dying on the cross of the zodiac, because Jesus is the astrotheological figure of the sun who dies on the cross on the winter solstice in December, and then rises up again after going through 3 houses of the zodiac and rising up again on the eastern horizon as the resurrected sun in the sky on the eastern horizon at the spring equinox. Astrotheology. Not that hard to understand, to decode. The movie shows how, this man displays his worldliness, wants the burden alleviated from him. And then this spirit comes to him and says, oh, you don't need to do that. You don't need to make that sacrifice of your life. Takes him down off the cross, brings him to a loving family that he lives out his whole days and is prepared to die. And Judas, of all people, is portrayed as the one who reminds him of what he's there to do, his purpose. Very similar to the Christian allegory of the Matrix, resurrection, And the Judas figure, again, that was the crew of the Mnemosyne. I couldn't remember the name, the Greek goddess of memory. The crew, the plaque references Mark 3:19, which is Judas, and that's, the crew represents that. They're willing to make the sacrifice to do what needs to be done. So Judas is willing to turn in Jesus in the movie, and this is Jesus' own idea in the movie. I like the twists that are presented in it, but the reason I'm even bringing it up is because it is about the real form of love, the cosmic form of love, versus the familial form of love, which acts as a restraint, which acts as an attachment to worldly things, which we're going to talk about in this episode deeply.